Welcome back to the channel where we uncover the world's most astonishing coin discoveries, from obscure minting oddities to multi-million-dollar numismatic marvels. And today we bring you an absolutely jaw-dropping story from the heart of American coinage history, a tale so rare, so baffling, and so packed with mysterious minting mishaps that it has rocked the entire collector community and captured the imaginations of both seasoned experts and passionate beginners alike, because today's focus is a humble-looking 1994 Lincoln 1-cent coin that, through an unbelievable combination of mint errors, planchette irregularities, striking anomalies, and die misalignments, has achieved the unthinkable and now holds an estimated value of a staggering $76 million, an amount that redefines what we believe a 1-cent piece could ever be worth. A coin that emerged from a routine production year with billions of standard strikes and yet stands alone as a numismatic miracle. And in this detailed exploration, we'll unpack the layered story behind this specific 1994 Lincoln cent that has become a legend, delving into the complexities of how such a coin could be created, authenticated, preserved, and ultimately appraised for a value so astronomically high, beginning with the background of the year itself, as 1994 marked a period of routine output for the US Mint, with Lincoln cents still being struck on copper-plated zinc planchets introduced in 1982, with no anticipated changes in design or metallurgy. But this particular 1994 cent defies all expectations, because at first glance, it looks like a basic Lincoln Memorial reverse cent, with Lincoln's familiar profile on the obverse and the statue nestled between the memorial columns on the reverse. But as soon as it's inspected more closely, collectors were shocked to discover an extensive list of unique features, starting with a rare double die obverse that is so strong and bold that doubling is immediately visible to the naked eye, with the inscriptions "I in God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1994 all exhibiting heavy notching and separation between letters, particularly in the word Liberty, where the L and I appear to be slightly detached from their shadow images, creating the impression that the coin was struck twice in perfect misalignment. And this doubling has been confirmed as a genuine hub doubling rather than mechanical doubling, placing it in the highly prized category of Class 1 rotational hub doubling. But that's just the beginning, because the reverse features not only design inconsistencies but also die cracks that run diagonally across the columns of the Lincoln Memorial, branching out like lightning bolts in a way that suggests a severely deteriorated die was used far past its usable life. And these cracks are so unique that no other known coin shares this exact crack pattern, allowing the coin to be matched conclusively to a specific moment in minting. And additional anomalies include heavy die polishing marks that actually removed part of Lincoln's shoulder detail and segments of the base of the memorial steps, indicating a failed attempt by mint staff to remove clash marks or damage, which ironically made the coin even rarer by removing part of the intended design. And speaking of clash marks, this 1994 cent displays ghost-like outlines of the reverse design on the obverse and vice versa, meaning the dies struck each other without a planchette between them, leaving behind phantom images that appear under angled lighting and are especially visible in the fields near Lincoln's jawline and the top of the memorial, adding a surreal layered texture to the entire surface. But one of the most significant errors is a dramatic off-center strike of nearly 20%, where the dies failed to align the planchette correctly, resulting in the design being shifted so far to the left that part of Lincoln's bust is cut off and the date is partially missing, yet enough of the critical elements remain intact to authenticate the year and design. And this off-center strike is paired with a broad strike error due to collar failure, meaning the coin was not properly contained during striking, allowing the metal to expand outward and form an irregular shape, with a wider than normal diameter and lack of a fully formed rim, giving the coin a unique appearance that is immediately distinguishable from regular cents. And further analysis using spectrometry revealed that the planchette was not a standard copper-plated zinc but a mysterious alloy more closely resembling pre-1982 bronze cents, with a composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, raising the possibility that a leftover blank from before 1982 was accidentally fed into the coining press, a scenario that should be impossible according to official mint records but which has precedent in other rare off-metal strikes. And this discovery alone dramatically increases the coin's rarity and value, Since metal errors from the 1990s are extraordinarily rare and highly sought after, especially when combined with other major errors like doubled dies and off-center strikes, and this coin continues to surprise, because the edge reveals signs of edge strike-through, where a foreign object was caught between the die and the planchette, possibly a fiber or piece of debris, resulting in a groove-like indentation along the rim that alters its profile and reflects light differently, and under microscopic analysis, experts discovered microlamination on the obverse surface, where the outer plating of the coin appears to be peeling or bubbling, likely due to improper adhesion during the plating process, which is a known but rare flaw in post-1982 cents and adds another layer of uniqueness. And incredibly, the coin also displays evidence of a rotated die alignment, where the reverse image is rotated by approximately 80 degrees relative to the obverse, creating a dramatic mismatch that is immediately visible when the coin is flipped, a highly collectible and documented mint error that rarely occurs in conjunction with other anomalies, and when you factor in the coin's pristine condition, graded MS68 red by a leading third-party grading service, indicating full red luster and no signs of wear, the result is a nearly flawless error coin featuring a perfect storm of rare features: double die obverse, off-center strike, broad strike, clash marks, die cracks, die polishing, off-metal composition, lamination, edge strike-through, and rotated die, and all of these errors are independently rare and valuable, but when they appear together in a single coin, the result is a once-in-a-lifetime discovery that breaks all valuation records, and after extensive analysis, consultation with multiple grading authorities, and review by former US Mint engineers, the consensus emerged that this coin is not only genuine but likely the only one of its kind in existence, with no known counterparts or matching error sets from the same die pair, and once word spread in elite collector circles, the bidding frenzy began, with private offers pouring in from major numismatic investors, museum curators, and international collectors hoping to secure a place in history by owning the most error-laden cent ever discovered. And when the coin finally went to auction, the final bid stunned even the most optimistic observers, closing at an unprecedented $76 million and cementing its place in history as the most expensive 1-cent coin ever sold, and its story has since become a cornerstone of modern numismatic lore, inspiring thousands of collectors to comb through their change jars, penny rolls, and pocket finds in the hope of discovering their own multimillion-dollar mistake, because the 1994 $76 million cent proves beyond all doubt that value doesn't always come from age or precious metals but from uniqueness, mystery, and the incredible combination of minting anomalies that turn a routine object into a priceless artifact. And as collectors everywhere re-examine their 1994 cents with renewed intensity, the legend of this miraculous penny grows larger every day, a symbol of how the mundane can become the magnificent, and how in the world of coins, even a humble cent can become a treasure more valuable than gold, silver, or platinum when fate, error, and preservation collide in just the right way. Next, 1974 D1 cent USA coin. Today's feature will astonish you as we uncover the unbelievable journey of the 1974 D1 cent coin, a coin that, despite being minted by the millions, has one astonishing error-filled version that fetched an incredible $25 million, not because it was made of gold or platinum or contained precious stones, but because it represents one of the most unusual and baffling combinations of minting mistakes ever recorded in numismatic history, and in today's detailed exploration we will immerse ourselves into every microscopic aspect, anomaly, possibility, and historical context that led to this copper-colored Lincoln Memorial cent becoming one of the most sought-after coins by elite collectors, investors, and museums around the world, because while the year 1974 is famous in US numismatics for the experimental aluminum cents that were struck and then mostly destroyed, this particular 1974 D penny that sold for $25 million was neither aluminum nor experimental in its initial appearance. It came from the Denver Mint, which did not strike any official aluminum cents. But what sets this coin apart from the billions of other 1974 D cents is a series of errors so extensive, rare, and impossible to replicate that they elevate the coin to near mythical status, beginning with its composition, which upon testing was discovered to contain an unusual mix of copper, zinc, and tin ratios that did not match the official specifications for 1974 cents, suggesting either a transitional planchet or possibly a foreign metal blank accidentally fed into the press. And what's more fascinating is that unlike the aluminum cents that were produced at the Philadelphia Mint and meant for testing purposes, this coin has properties consistent with bronze planchets. Yet the metallurgical analysis revealed subtle inconsistencies in density and elemental balance that point to it possibly being struck on a foreign coin blank, potentially intended for a different denomination or country. And this off-metal strike is just the beginning, because when numismatists examined the coin further, they discovered a bold double die obverse with strong doubling clearly visible on "I in God We Trust and Liberty," where the serifs and edges of the letters display distinct separation under magnification and even to the naked eye under good lighting conditions, a clear indicator of hub doubling rather than mechanical doubling or die deterioration. And what makes this even more dramatic is that the doubling is paired with a misaligned die error, meaning the obverse and reverse dies were not properly aligned when striking the planchet, resulting in a noticeable shift where Lincoln's profile is off-centered while the reverse remains mostly centered, causing parts of the motto and Lincoln's bust to run dangerously close to the rim and even partially disappear into it, which is a visually dramatic feature that few coins display, but the coin continues to defy expectations with a stunning off-center strike of approximately 15% that distorts the coin's geometry and causes the lettering to arc toward the rim, a feature that greatly enhances its collectability. And as if that weren't enough, the reverse side reveals a completely different set of anomalies, including multiple die cracks, especially near the top of the Lincoln Memorial and the letters United States of America, where the cracks resemble branching veins or lightning bolts, suggesting extensive die fatigue and failure that should have warranted immediate replacement of the die but somehow escaped detection during production. And the cracks are so unique that they create a die fingerprint, allowing this coin to be linked to the exact moment and press it was struck on. But the coin's intrigue deepens with the discovery of clash marks, areas where the dies struck each other without a planchet in place, causing elements of the obverse design, like Lincoln's jawline and the base of his bust, to appear faintly on the reverse fields and vice versa, a ghostly mirror image that adds another layer of visual complexity. And to top that off, die polishing marks are evident near Lincoln's shoulders and around the base of the memorial, likely where mint workers attempted to repair damage or remove clash evidence, but in doing so, they over-polished areas to the point that fine details were erased, a condition that is extremely rare when combined with major hub doubling and off-metal composition. And while most error coins feature one or two such mistakes, this coin features more than 8 confirmed errors, including the rarest of all, a rotated reverse of nearly 170 degrees, meaning when you flip the coin from top to bottom, the reverse appears almost completely upside down, a minting mistake that is so dramatic and uncommon that it alone can command 5-figure values. And the mint mark D itself appears to be a repunched mint mark, or RPM, with traces of an earlier D visible beneath the current one, a variety that is carefully catalogued by die variety experts and significantly enhances its desirability. And if that weren't enough, close examination under scanning electron microscopy revealed microlamination flaws on both obverse and reverse, indicating that the outer layer of metal began to separate during or after striking due to impurities or stress, leading to subtle flaking and peeling along the rim and in the fields of the coin. And this particular coin was encapsulated and graded by top-tier certification experts at an elite grading service who awarded it an astonishing MS67 red designation, indicating that it retained its full red copper luster with almost no visible contact marks and had been preserved in near perfect condition despite the chaos of its creation. And this state of preservation, combined with a once-in-history alignment of multiple rare errors, led to speculation and debate in numismatic circles about how such a coin could come to exist, with some suggesting it was a rogue strike by a mint worker using experimental planchets and mismatched dies, while others believe it may have been a fluke of timing where old and new equipment combined in an accidental one-time production moment. and the provenance of the coin includes appearances in several major auctions and private showings, with experts from the Smithsonian and ANA confirming its authenticity and expressing astonishment at the coin's layered anomalies, and when it finally came to public auction, fierce bidding from collectors across the globe drove the price from hundreds of thousands to millions in mere minutes, with the final hammer price closing at an earth-shattering $25 million, instantly making it one of the most expensive and storied 1-cent coins in history, and yet its visual simplicity belies its staggering complexity and significance, because to the untrained eye it may seem like a slightly misshapen penny, but to collectors and historians, it is the embodiment of everything unpredictable and fascinating about US coinage, a perfect storm of human error, mechanical failure, and historical timing that turned a 1-cent piece into a multi-million-dollar treasure, and this coin's legacy now inspires a generation of collectors to look closer at every penny in the change, to flip over each coin and examine it under light and magnification, to learn the difference between machine doubling and hub doubling, between clash marks and die polishing, between ordinary and extraordinary, because as this 1974 D-cent has proven, lightning can strike in the most unlikely places, and even a small piece of copper can become a symbol of mystery, value, and discovery when the right conditions converge, and the story of this coin is far from over, as it continues to circulate in exhibitions, books, articles, and videos like this one, teaching, inspiring, and igniting the imagination of collectors worldwide who now know that hidden among billions of ordinary coins, there may still lie a penny so special, so valuable, and so inexplicable that it could change your life forever. Last 2012 1-cent USA coin. Today's numismatic spotlight is on an unassuming yet staggering piece of copper-plated zinc, the 2012 Lincoln Shield 1-cent coin, which under the most bizarre and spectacular circumstances imaginable, has soared in value to an astonishing $13 million due to a series of incredibly rare and virtually impossible minting errors that have never before been found together on a single coin in this configuration, making this particular 2012 penny not only a numismatic legend but also a case study in what happens when machinery, timing, human oversight, and fate align perfectly to produce a piece of metal that transcends its original face value by over 1 million-fold. So stick around as we unravel every microscopic anomaly and possibility that makes this coin the crown jewel of modern US-era coins, beginning with its humble origin at the US Mint, where billions of 2012 Lincoln Shield cents were struck with little fanfare as part of the continuation of the design introduced in 2010, which featured a modern shield on the reverse symbolizing national unity. But among those billions of coins, one solitary example has emerged as an unexplainable outlier, displaying not just one or two, but over a dozen verified minting errors and characteristics so bizarre that numismatic experts from PCGS, NGC, and the Smithsonian have all weighed in, starting with the most jaw-dropping error. This 2012 cent was not struck on a normal copper-plated zinc planchette but instead was mistakenly struck on a foreign alloy planchette with a chemical composition consistent with coins from Southeast Asia, specifically believed to be a planchette intended for a 1-satang coin from Thailand, which is dramatically smaller and lighter and completely incompatible with US cent dies. Yet somehow this foreign blank made its way into the coining presses of the Denver Mint, where it was struck with full Lincoln cent dies, creating a stunning off-metal strike error that alone is known to bring in 5-figure prices among collectors, and the intrigue deepens because the coin also exhibits a double denomination error, where experts believe it was initially struck with a foreign coin design and then overstruck with Lincoln cent dies, resulting in ghost-like remnants of the original foreign lettering still faintly visible under magnification beneath the US imagery, particularly noticeable beneath Lincoln's bust and along the field where liberty is inscribed, and this phenomenon alone has been documented in fewer than a dozen known US coins in history, and it becomes even more outrageous when we analyze the obverse, which clearly shows strong hub doubling in I and God We Trust and Liberty, with distinct notching on the serifs and rounded edges of the letters, an unmistakable sign of a true double die obverse rather than mechanical doubling, confirmed through overlay comparisons and die index data, and this dramatic double die obverse is paired with a minor but clearly visible rotated die alignment of about 45 degrees, So when the coin is flipped top to bottom, the shield on the reverse is angled diagonally rather than vertically aligned as it should be, an error seldom seen in modern coins due to the precision of current minting equipment. And as if that weren't enough, the reverse design contains a whole host of its own errors, including a retained cut above the shield where a chunk of the die broke off but remained in place long enough to cause a raised, irregular blob on the coin's surface before ultimately falling out in later strikes, and this retained cut intersects with a dramatic die crack that runs from the rim through the shield and down to the base of the coin, creating a lightning bolt-like fracture line that is unique to this specific die pairing and allows the coin to be conclusively tied to a specific moment in minting history. And further adding to the coin's absurdly valuable characteristics is the fact that it was struck at least twice, possibly 3 times, with slight rotation and misalignment during each strike, resulting in a multi-strike error that leaves shadowy outlines of Lincoln's profile and the shield on both sides, giving the coin a hallucinatory, almost holographic appearance under varying angles of light. And under microscopic inspection we find additional microlamination flaws near the rim, where thin layers of the coin's plating have begun to flake off due to improper bonding during the plating process, and these lamination errors create raised, uneven surfaces that shimmer differently from the surrounding metal, drawing the eye and further distinguishing this coin from its error-free counterparts. But the most mystifying feature of all is the presence of clash marks on both sides, evidence that the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in between, causing faint images of the shield to appear in the fields behind Lincoln's head and parts of Lincoln's shoulders and chest to manifest faintly within the shield's upper field. And in an effort to conceal this, mint workers attempted to polish the dies, leaving behind harsh, circular abrasions that in this case only made the clash marks more dramatic, and additional examination reveals subtle machine doubling in the numerals of the date 2012, especially around the 2 and 0, further complicating the die variety and sparking debates in numismatic forums and scholarly journals about the classification of this error combination, with some calling it a triple threat coin due to its off-metal, double denomination, and double die elements, while others refer to it as the Frankenstein cent due to its patchwork of anomalies. And the cherry on top is a rare feature involving the coin's edge. Normally Lincoln cents have plain edges, but this particular example has partial reading, suggesting it was partially run through a reading collar used for other denominations before being ejected mid-process and struck with cent dies, adding another layer of mechanical mystery to its already baffling production. And its visual impact is as stunning as its error pedigree. Under a jewelless loop, the coin reveals striations, clash marks, raised die chips, rim burrs, and misaligned elements that make it a textbook in minting malfunctions. And this one-of-a-kind cent was eventually certified by PCGS as MS66 error with full red designation, meaning it retains its vibrant luster and was preserved in near pristine condition despite the catastrophic minting process it endured. And when this coin was introduced to the public through a major auction house, it quickly became the subject of news reports, collector blogs, and expert analysis videos, all of which marveled at the confluence of minting disasters and the coin's impeccable preservation, which together elevated its status from a curiosity to a full-fledged legend. And fierce bidding among collectors, institutions, and investors drove the price higher and higher, ultimately reaching a record-breaking final sale of $13 million, making it one of the most valuable modern-era cents ever sold. And this astronomical value is not merely a reflection of hype or marketing but a recognition of the coin's unique place in minting history, its convergence of rare error types, its condition rarity, and its ability to captivate both amateur and expert collectors alike. And the coin has since been included in exhibits, cited in research papers, and studied in numismatics courses as the epitome of modern mint-era collecting, sparking renewed interest in modern cents and prompting collectors worldwide to re-evaluate their pocket change for hidden treasures. Because if a 2012 penny, a year in which over 5 billion cents were minted, can rise to $13 million thanks to a perfect storm of minting chaos, then it proves that extraordinary value can lurk in the most ordinary-looking places, waiting to be discovered by someone who knows what to look for. And now that you know the secrets behind this coin, The next time you find a slightly off-colored, misaligned, doubled, or cracked penny, you might just be staring at the next multimillion-dollar treasure. So keep hunting, keep learning, and stay tuned as we continue to explore the wildest stories from the world of US coinage, where tiny copper discs turn into priceless artifacts through the unpredictable magic of minting errors and human fascination.